Right, we are live. Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the Kiwi Lads channel. We are back for the final of the Cape Town Sevens. It will be the home side, South Africa, taking on the defending gold medalists of the Olympics, France. This one has all of the signs that it's going to be a very good game between these two teams. Looking through at the starting lineups. First of all, for the Blitzboks, they have been pretty dominant at times throughout this competition, but their side, it is Kieran Nokia, Donovan Don, Devald Human, David Brits, Zane Davids, Ricardo James Duarte, and also Impe Visa. For the French starting side, it is Victor Hanon Delamere. He's had some great moments throughout the last couple games for France, including a try in their most recent fixture. Vivian Pasquet, I think that his impact in that last match for the French up against the Fijians cannot go underestimated. Zedar is there, Pauline Riva, Stephen Perez-Martin, so going with that experience in the starting lineup, and then Pozelies, whose name I do mispronounce, but he scored a lot of tries throughout this Cape Town Sevens competition. Looking through at the previous fixtures for these two sides, first of all, for South Africa, they were a part of Pool C alongside Ireland and Argentina, and in the shortened format of the Sevens competition, it meant you only get two chances. You have to win both your games to advance to the semis, and that is exactly what South Africa did. 36 points to 7, they win over the Irish, and then 29 points to 5, the victory over Los Pumas. Now, those two games were a clear indication that this Cape Town Sevens competition was definitely going to be one that South Africa could go far in. They found themselves up against the Spanish in the semi-finals. They won it 19 points to 12, and we've just seen Fiji dominate Spain, so I feel like that loss for Spain really took the wind out of their sails. In the chat, we should mention we've got Ruth here, we've got Deanna, also Nathan is here, who has set South Africa all the way. Spicy game for the girls' final, says Novmum. Yeah, New Zealand just claiming themselves as the Cape Town Sevens women's champions. Now these two sides, France and South Africa, want to do the same for the men's. Good luck, Blitzboks, says Marcel. Hope it's an exciting game, says Hillary. And Yo says Charles, and Robert is here in the chat as well. Looking through at what France have done in their group stage fixtures. They were a part of Pool D alongside USA and New Zealand. Now, their first game up against the USA, France won it 50 points to 12. So straight away, firing from the get-go. And then their next game up against New Zealand, they won 47 points to 15, which gave France 97 points across their first two fixtures. They were able to bring up the 100 in their semi-final up against the Fijians. Now, I should mention that is 100 points in total, not the 100 points in the individual game. 19 points to 17, the same score as Fiji beat France by last week in the Dubai quarterfinals. So both of these sides are sitting 3 wins from 3, both scoring 19 points in their most recent fixture of the semi-finals, and then 2 dominating performances in the group stage, which pretty much means we have no idea how these two sides will match up. South Africa at home, though, you'd have to go pretty bold to not back them to get themselves the win here on home soil. They've got the whole nation behind them. The stadium is packed. Sia Khaleesi in the stands, spreading that Springbok joy. And we'll have to wait and see if it does pay off. Andre says, show us some Blitzboks, says Andre. And then we should mention, not only are the Springboks or the Springboks Sevens starting lineup looking dominant off the bench. Listen to some of these names. Sean Williams almost scored himself a try off the bench in that game up against the Spanish. Tristan Lades did score himself the try. Savue Soyazwapi, I don't even know if they used him in the last game, or at least if they did, he didn't get a huge amount of game time or a huge amount of impact, but he's one of the more experienced heads out there on the field for the South Africans, so can certainly make the difference. Shilton van Wyk breaking the line up against Spain, foot to the floor, and managed to score a very important try. And then you got the youngster Xander Reinders, who will just be absolutely loving the environment of the Sevens, being on home soil as well. Massive chance for that man off the bench for the French. They also brought their own impact. Artaud managed to get that last minute kickover up against the Fijians. Iragua, when he gets to those breakdowns, does look extremely solid. And then also Jordan Sefo, bit of power later on. And the match morning Hamish, who's on the final, says Joseph. So this one will be South Africa, the home side, going head-to-head with France, who did win themselves the gold medal at the Olympics last year. Also, their Sevens coach got himself the Coach of the Year roll. What time is the game? It has taken place in only around 7 minutes time, so we aren't too far away from the start of this fixture. But anyone who is new, of course, if you haven't already, be sure to hit that subscribe button, as it is greatly appreciated. I was waiting for you to stream since I had no one to watch. Says Charles, and good luck Blitzboks. Make South Africa proud, please. Says Patricia, and let's go the Blitzboks. Says Craig, and go Blitzboks, do us proud. Says Sammy there as well. But the two sides just about to make their way out of the tunnel. A lot of people painted in the South African flag colours here. We got there also South Africa World Rugby Champs as a shirt that a lot of people have on as well. So a lot of support for this Blitzboks team. To wait and see if they can back it up. And I've said that quite a bit, but this game is very hard to predict, honestly, because we did see these two sides play last week in Dubai, and it was relatively competitive in that regard. But Sevens is one of those things that one week it can be completely different to the next. We've seen them play twice throughout the last competition in Dubai. We saw the first game go the way of South Africa, 24 points to 19. Then they did play off for the 6th place and 5th place playoff game, and France were able to get themselves the victory there, 17 points to 5. So the most that they have been split by is 5. The last 2 times that they've played. Hamish, have you told the world? Oh, you know, our South African commentator, we love hearing your voice, says Shanti J. I have not told the world, I don't think, but we have been here for many, many live streams all throughout the Sevens, as well as throughout the Champions Cup games that recently took place. We covered all 3 on the channel. I haven't seen whether or not the Ospreys or the Lions were able to get themselves the win in that most recent one, but looking through the last 5 meetings, there is one exception, or in fact 2 exceptions to the rule, and that was in Perth. We saw South Africa win up against the French 24 points to 5, and then the game prior to that, a dominating win for the French. Now, I should mention, Ndlovu is not available for South Africa. Karaba and Dabo, the 2 players who aren't available for the French. What time is the game, says Louise? It has taken place in 5 minutes' time. They are just about to make their way onto the field. Then we'll have the national anthems. Then we're straight into the action. We have got there Aston to put a score on the board now, please. They normally ahead, make it 32-0, says Sean. And have a fan ever taken a picture with you in real life? 1, or actually 2, I should say. One of them was at a supermarket that he worked at, and that was a little while ago, and he pretty much said, wait, are you from YouTube? And then the other one was actually a guy who flew all the way to New Zealand from Chile for a holiday, ended up giving me a Chilean rugby kit, took a picture with him as well. Osprey leading Lions by 13. Oh, that's going to be tough then. Not much time left in that game, I wouldn't think. Hey, Hamish just came to say congrats to the Black Ferns. Says Reno. And yeah, managing to get the win in the women's side of things. And now these two sides, they were not in the final last week. The final rematch took place as the bronze medal contest between Fiji and Spain. This one, though, 2 sides that are hungry to try and get themselves the big win. The last final in Cape Town, it was 2023. We saw Argentina with a big win over the Australians, 45 points to 12. I don't see this game being that one-sided. I think it's going to go down to the wire. Springboks going to win, says Rudolph. And also another big clash, another big commentary, Hamish, and going hard, fella. Are you going before I went to bed, says Sandal. So good morning, mate. Hope you are keeping very well. It's currently 6:10 a.m. almost here in New Zealand. We've been going all night with the Sevens coverage. We've got about a week, or sorry, not a week, probably about a month and a half that we have to wait before the next leg. So we decided to go for it. And this one hit hard early for the South Africans, says GC, or JC, I should say. And the Blitz sees 21 for the French 14. And good luck to South Africa. God bless, says Vatera. And France had a good win against Fiji. Picked them to take this final, says Dean. And the benefit for both of these sides is they shouldn't be too heavily fatigued. Because at the end of the day, these two teams have only played 1 game today. 2 yesterday. Normally on the 7 circuit, by this point, you would have been playing your 6th matchup. And I actually mentioned about it on one of the previous live streams. I think that heavily benefits South Africa, as normally we see them do extremely well in the previous format around the quarterfinal stage, and then the semis is normally when they either drop out or they go on to the final. So I think that this is the perfect time for South Africa in terms of their form. They've gone up. They had a tough game up against the Spanish, but I would say that it wasn't as challenging as the game between France and Fiji. That was a lot more taxing on the body. I mean, we've seen 2 players drop out for the French throughout this competition. And I think that bench for South Africa, we talk about the bomb squad in the game of rugby union, but the way that this one is set up with Tristan Lades, Saviwe Soyezwapi, Shilton van Wyk, Reinders, and also Sean Williams, that is a lot of impact that can be brought later on. But currently the South African national anthem, the tears flowing from the eyes of Sean Williams here. A lot of these young players just want to get out there, experience this type of environment, and in front of a home crowd. We didn't get to see it last year for the South Africans. I believe we didn't get to see it the year prior to that either. We saw it be Samoa versus New Zealand. So this is a big moment for the South African Sevens side. Blitzboks win by 9, says Neville for the prediction. And third time, what time is the game, says Louis? It is kicking off in 1 minute time now. I did mention when you first asked it was 5, then the next time I said it was about 3. This time we're only 1 minute away. But if you need the specifications, I should say, it is kicking off at 7:11 p.m. South African time. Hopefully that is specific enough for yourself. 1 minute to go, says Graham. And it was won the women's final. It was New Zealand managed to get themselves the win over the USA in that matchup. I don't know if I'm going to jinx the Blitzboks by watching them in the final, says Juan Pierre Bosch. And the box 26-19 is the prediction from Pierre. And it's a final countdown, says Ruth. So both national anthems have now been sung. We are ready to go for this Cape Town Sevens finals. Here we go, Blitzies. Here we go, Blitzies. Says Aline, and hi to my fans, says Lionel Messi. Such a good year for rugby. Thanks for your great commentary. Says Stretch. What was your favourite subject at school? Says Charles. Probably PE, believe it or not. You wouldn't think it by looking at me, but I didn't mind a bit of physical education. That sounds a bit dodgy, but I don't know what it's called in other places around the world. Phys ed, I think, is something that they call it in certain places. But now being Connor, his 8th match on the series. Now, I'm happy for him, but this is a very big game for a guy who's only had 8 games and also looks like he's just out of high school. Can he handle the pressure? Just like some of these young players, we will soon know whether or not this type of environment will be too much for them to handle. But France will be kicking off this one from left to right, and it is Steven Perez-Martin who will get us underway. They are going from left to right here, France, for the final in Cape Town. Kicked off high. And there's a little bit of breeze in Cape Town at the moment, but well claimed by Donovan Don under the high ball. Ricardo James Duarte wanting to find a gap, but hit early by Pauline Riva, one of the more experienced heads on the field for the French. South Africa deep inside of their own 22. Donovan Don driven into the turf, this time by Riva as well. Loose ball. South Africa playing it on the ground, you would argue, so it's stolen by the French. Steven Perez-Martin goes up the middle of the field, currently 10 metres out from South Africa's line. Nice step coming. Little offload out the back. Pauline Riva and try in the corner, or was it for Pucelgues, whose name I still mispronounce. I'll get it one day. Pucelgue, I believe it is. But he has scored it 6 tries throughout his career, 5 of which coming in Cape Town. Great start to the match for the French. Little bit of a slip from Kieran Nokia, which then left the gap on the outside. And Blitz 17 or 24 points to 17. The kick is successful as well, so the score now sits 7-0 in favour of France. We have got there nothing like a caramel mocha with a camel. With a camel? Are you sharing it with the camel, or you just got a camel nearby that you're drinking your tea with? But now it's going to be kicked off by France yet again. But the Blitzboks, they've been down before, but they come back quite often. That's a loose ball touching the hands of the South Africans, which does mean France will have themselves the line out. Just a reminder, these two sides played twice last week. We saw 24 points to 19 in the first game going the way of South Africa. And then the next game, it was 17 points to 15 in favour of the French. And speaking of France, they have got the position again, 40 metres out from the Blitzboks line. Pasquet tied up around the bootlaces by David Brits, and Impe Visa wins the not releasing penalty. And we have there coming soon, a mocha frappe and vanilla cream on Dupont. It's not how you start, it's how you finish. Exactly right. And these two sides are known for their brilliant finishing in a game. France, they had 2 great starts. So did South Africa in their first 2 games. Saw France bring up 97 points. But the South African defence has been extremely solid, only conceding 4 tries throughout the whole competition so far. South Africa does better when they don't score first. Sevens only. says Robert, but now it's going to be thrown in by Ricardo James Duarte. They are 40 metres out from the French line. Going back across to the right-hand side to Volhuman. Great ball through, and Donovan Don will get the try back for South Africa. Should be a relatively easy kick. In fact, it should be the easiest, as he has run it right round and put the grounding between the posts. Donovan Don does get his first in Cape Town. Also there, Lionel Messi beat New Zealand in the quarterfinals. And Camel for men's. Says Viviani, and hi everyone, says Gillian. Welcome in. Hope you are doing extremely well. Try coming back from the Blitzboks. This has the potential of just being a seesaw type of match, which is absolutely epic. And I hope it's as close as it is at the moment. About 1 minute to go. I'd love to see a game go to golden point time, just because we haven't actually seen it, I don't believe, throughout the matches we have covered as of yet for the new series. So who knows? It could happen today, perhaps, but kicked off extremely high from De Volhuman. Great leap from Mpivisa, and he slaps it back onto the side of the South Africans. Ricardo James Duarte knocks the ball backwards, but still has numbers to his right-hand side. Passed out wide. Chance here for the corner. David Brits, I should say, does get wrestled down. Loose ball. Cleaned up now, but a structure coming, Zane Davids. The bulldozer, that man is like a building, and he's just broken straight through the French defence for the second try of the match for South Africa. Go the Bockies, says Helen there, listening in whilst in Baghdad, says Hamish McIntyre. And we have got their tops 1,000, a nice fluent English, says Charles. That is a great shot. Davids just goes straight through the youngster Victor Hanun. Didn't know what was coming at him. Glad when it said, "I go the Blitzboks." Now they have taken the lead. They were down by 7, but just like always, they kept their composure and they worked their way back into the game. With 2 minutes 30 remaining in this first half, the score is now 14 points to 7 in favour of the home side. It's going to be kicked off high again, and Mpivisa tries to slap it back. They look like it went forward into the hands of the French player, but Pasquet manages to step through, trying to flirt with the touchline. Somehow keeps in the field of play, but he's thrown it straight into the hands of Zane Davids. Now, Donovan Dong goes across to Mpivisa. It's been chopped down, one of the co-captains for the South Africans. Counter ruck again, coming from France. Steven Perez Martin went for the ball, but he doesn't end up with it. South Africa now, little chipping behind from Nokia, waiting for the bounce of the ball. He gets it. Does take it to ground. Counter ruck coming from the big man, Zedar. Looked like there might have almost been a knock on there from France in the breakdown. Now Riva looks for the offload to Steven Perez Martin. This game is being played at an absolutely frantic pace, but once again, the other co-captain, in this case Zane Davids, gets the penalty for South Africa, not releasing. It's just simply brilliant, never get better than this. And got the conversion too, Lebok not kicking, says Bruce, although it is a drop kick that they are doing rather than off a kicking tee. And now scrum feed in favour of the Blitzboks. The counter rucks at the moment have been phenomenal from both teams. We've seen France step over a few times. France have never beaten South Africa. In South Africa, losing all 10 games is a stat that's just popped up on the screen. Now, my prediction for this game was 21 points to 19. And if that is the case, that will mean that France will be missing a kick at some stage when they score. That is the last thing that they'll want. Go to the Bok. We all believe in you, says Johan there. Now, asking for a little bit of stability at scrum time. Ricardo James Duarte has the ball there, goes across to De Volhuman. Now, Donovan Don. Ooh, that was a head-on-head collision between him and Pasquet. I don't know what happened, but somehow the ball's popped out on the side of France. Now chance to add some points on before halftime. Passes on the outside. Pasquet, he's doing some hot stepping, trying to go through. Nokia misses his tackle, but eventually gets him to ground. Steven Perez Martin goes back to the right-hand side here. For the French, they are 30 metres from the line. Passes one more. Zadar gets taken down in a low tackle by Mpivisa. Loose ball cleaned up by Desir. Pressure from Mpivisa, but he gives away the penalty. Steven Perez Martin taking the quick tap now. 10 metres out from the line. Breaks through one. Dragged down by De Volhuman. Desay goes across to Riva. Chance here in the corner if France can get the passing right, and they do. Pasquet scores it for France, and they are back into this game right on the verge of halftime. Another try has been scored. Our electricity just went out. Thanks for keeping us alive, says Nico. No worries at all. Anyone who is new to the channel, of course, be sure to hit that subscribe button. It is greatly appreciated you all being here for these live streams. And we've got plenty more coming. Every leg of the sevens we are going to be covering on the channel as well. But now, it's going to be an important kick, and it's gone over, making the score now at halftime 14 points to 14. Could be a last-minute thriller. It's what we've been hoping for, and Cape Town looks relatively full as well as the evening starts to come across the ground. No more sun, which is quite nice because halfway through the day we ended up with half the field covered in the sunshine, but now the team huddles, two tired teams, and this is where I believe South Africa will up their tempo because they have got a brilliant bench. Sean Williams, Tristan Lades, Savua Soyaswapi, Shilton van Wyk, and Xander Reinders, the man on debut. But two of those five men that I just mentioned scored tries in the last match for the Blitzboks, whereas for the French, they've got Iragua, they've got Jordan Sefo, Dezay has already made his way onto the field, and Artaud, who scored the last-minute conversion to beat Fiji in the semis. Only sevens will have, says Jurien there. And what are you doing, Box? Says Not Swifty. Tell you what, there's some impressive stats coming from this game, although one stat that definitely stands out for me is the tackle completion of South Africa. They have only tackled at 55%, which is a lot lower than we are used to seeing. Now, France, I believe they were only at 65-70% here, so that is quite low for them as a whole as well. And we've also seen 4 offloads coming from France with the 0 of South Africa. So the French trying to keep this ball alive, trying to wear down on this Blitzboks team, but both sides know that there is a big 7 minutes coming up here. Disappointing turnout in Cape Town. George would never, says Justin. And France is so bad, says Not Swifty. I mean, they must have been doing something right. They're in the final of the Cape Town Sevens. They got 97 points in their first 2 games. And they were able to beat the gold medalists from last week, Fiji, just recently. Now the Volthuman getting ready to take this kickoff. And we are back underway for this final. Now nicely taken by France. They will try their best to keep possession for as long as they can. It is a tactic that sides have used up against South Africa before. Sometimes it works, and other times in the breakdown they do fail. That's going to be a penalty going against Donovan Don, not rolling away. In fact, I believe it was someone before Donovan Don. Can't we win anything this weekend, excluding the Sharks? Says Helen. And come on, the Bok. And France are always ablaze, says Viviani. Now taking the quick tap there on the halfway line here for France rather than going, oh, that's a knock on, a big one from Zedar. And now scrum feed. Oh, little bit of push and shove almost was about to take place. Ricardo James Duarte steering at one of the French players. I think it was maybe Zedar, was it? No, it was actually, okay, I can understand why he was a bit annoyed. He got clotheslined by Ricardo James Duarte on his way down to the ground. Duarte said, what do you mean? That was a low tackle. When was the last time South Africa won in Cape Town? It was 2015, 2016, I believe. And that's just because it's popped up on the screen at the perfect time. Honestly, if you had asked me at any other stage throughout the match, I wouldn't have been able to tell you. But luckily, it showed right there, right when you asked. So yeah, it's been a long time, almost a decade for the South Africans. Here comes the Volthuman, kicking it in behind. Pace for days for Shilton van Wyk. He is just too quick. He's lost his pants, but he's scored the try. Oh, they're asking for double movement here. He has to pull up his shorts. But I think it's going to be the try for Shilton van Wyk. Once again, the super sub when he's made his way off the bench. What's next on the 7th circuit? It's going to be Perth, and that is late January. That takes place, but the Volthuman kicking it in behind. And then Shilton van Wyk almost scored the try. Yeah, he's literally lost his shorts in the process. They're saying maybe he was rolling towards the try line, but I think that was all momentum. That kick has gone over from South Africa, and now 21 points to 14. We have got there. Last time we were in the final at home was 2020. South Africa lost. I'm impressed with how well you say Van Wyk. Nice, says Herman. Thank you very much. Now France back in position here, looking for the offload, and it's gone into the hands of David Brits. That offloading, they did it a lot throughout the first half, but it might cost them here. Donovan Don thought about setting up for a cross kick. He's not known for his kicking. Oh, that's going to be knocked out of the hands of Shilton van Wyk. And it's a penalty going the way of South Africa. He pins his ears back. Missed tackle from River. Passes on the outside. The crowd are going wild. And in the corner, David Britt scores the try for the Blitzboks. 4.5 minutes remaining, and that one could just about be the game now. We have got there Bok, says Vi Hendricks, and yes, says Helen. And how many minutes left? Still 4.5, 4 by the time this kick is taken. But that one might just about secure the deal for this Blitzboks team. And France still winning this, says David. They're going to have to get 2 converted tries here, although it does depend on whether or not this kick does go over. David Britz celebrating that one big time. The kick misses away to the side. And well, nice to see how the channel has grown, says Alan. Yeah, it is greatly appreciated, every single one of you, for being here. If you are new, please do hit that subscribe button. We are here each and every week that the Sevens has taken place. We've got the other Rugby Union live streams that go each and every week as well. So be sure to stick around. But Pasquet now looking for the pass on the outside. Knock on from Jordan Sefo. The pass was a bit soft and too far out in front of him. We are South Africa and we don't lose, says Lawrence. What's next on the 7th circuit and what does the log look like if the Blitzies win, Amish, says Roger. So the next leg is Perth, late January. That is between the 24th and the 26th. And in terms of the log, South Africa got themselves 6th last week. If they get themselves to win here, I believe they would be 2nd or 3rd. Fiji would still be 1st as they got themselves the gold last week and the bronze this week. Bloody hell, my sporting day is over. Just watched the Ospreys spank the Lions and football was on, says Fleshen. But now scrum feed. South Africa have got themselves the feed. Only 3.5 minutes remaining. They are 75% through this match. That last 25, though, is normally when Sevens matches are determined. Let's see what they can do. Ricardo James Duarte. He's waiting to use the ball now. Goes on the outside. Plenty of pace in this back line. If they decide to use a Shilton van Wyk, what a player he's been. Oh, the ball pops out the side, but another penalty goes against France. Their real discipline is really costing them here. Aleka soon and firecracker, says Brian, and go the Blitzboks, says transient, I should say. But now it looks like they are going to go for another scrum. This is all using up valuable seconds on the clock. And thank goodness we got some young guys in the squad, says Bloom. Yeah, some of these young guys have done extremely well. I mean, you look at the fact that they didn't have Christy Grobelaar and they didn't have Selvin Davids, Ryan Oosterhuizen, Roscoe Speckman even. The guys that are missing from the setup, and they're still performing at this level. It is a bright future for this Blitzboks side. Ricardo James Duarte's had the ball stripped and he's actually knocked it on, they've said. Pasquet goes across to the right-hand side. Jordan Sefo running sideways, but he has to start running in the right direction towards the try line. Zane David's trying to rip it off him, but he's not quite able to do so. Back to the left-hand side. Have France got a little bit left in the tank? 2 minutes remaining on the clock. Pasquet dodges the tackle, but eventually dragged down by Shilton van Wyk. Now, just a slow, methodical build here for the French, trying to find that next gap. Jordan Sefo out wide, hit hard, low by Zane Davids. They're just going back, touchline to touchline at the moment here for France, shifting it wide. Iragua, he has a bit of a slip, breaks through 2 tackles, finds the pass on the outside. Pasquet inside, ball, that's a tackle off the ball. And that will be the penalty and a yellow card for the Blitzboks. Still 80 seconds remaining, and it's the yellow card. So if France score now, they still have enough time left to be able to get back and win this game. Saviwe Suizwapi, he is the man guilty of the tackle off the ball. The time is back on. France do not have these seconds to waste. They have to score, and they have to score soon. Now Iragua goes back across. Pauline Reva looking for the offload, finds Iragua, who ducks under one, gets it across to Reva, Saladami. That one I think was knocked back by South Africa, so it's going to be play on. Tristan Lades, they were asking whether or not that was a knock on from Reva, and the breakdown, and the ref sees it. And now with 50 seconds remaining, this one is just about secured for the Blitzboks on home soil. Massive moment in the game and a massive mistake made They're just saying they're looking at the wrong one. It's in the breakdown. There's the knock on from Riva. Commentators were saying it might have been that the pass wasn't correct, but then later on in the replay, it was confirmed. But now the final countdown playing around the ground. I would say that with 45 seconds left, there should be no way possible for the Blitzboks to lose from here. But you just never know. There could be an interception pass. There could be a drop ball that leads to a runaway try for the French. But I'm sure that they will take as many seconds as they can when it comes to the scrum. There's no point rushing it. 1 minute 20 remaining of the Saviwe Soyezwapi yellow card, so he will not be returning unless, of course, we go really deep in this game. Ricardo James Duarte, the time has been turned back on. Referee wants a clean scrum. French toast and a glass of wine, says Shanti. Now the scrum. It's used up 15 seconds. Ricardo James Duarte gets it in, and the penalty goes the way of South Africa. Shilton Van Wyk says, let's settle it down, boys. We don't need to take this one quickly. It looks like they have decided eventually to kick this ball towards the touchline. No, in fact, they're just going to go for the quick tap. It's the youngster, Reinders, who has been given it. He's been told to hurry up. If he stalls too long, he will get penalised and could end up with a yellow, so he has to use it. Now takes the quick tap. Ricardo James Duarte goes back across to Tristan Lades. The Blitzboks kick the ball into touch on the full-time siren, and they have won the Cape Town Sevens in front of the home crowd. The shortened format of the competition, and there is a lot of happy people in the Cape Town Stadium stands. I think we see there, I think there was Ndlovu. He's supposed to be injured. I think someone just jumped on him. Hopefully not a serious injury, whereas he might be in a bit of trouble, but there is certainly a lot of atmosphere at the Cape Town Stadium. Like I said, these guys have worked their backsides off to get to this position, these young new players for the Blitzboks Sevens side, and now they are Cape Town Sevens 2025 champions, as they call it, even though it happens in 2024. Great stuff, Hamish, says Rudolph, and well done the box, says Akastara, and night night everyone, says JC, and also Wahoo, says Gillian there. But yeah, massive performance from the South African side. The tears coming for Impivizi. He pretty much pushes the camera away and says, get out of my face, please. But looking at how this match did end up going, there were 6 tries in total, but this is one of the more one-sided games that we've seen in terms of the score sheet from recent times between these two teams. Donovan Dong got the first and the 3rd minute. Zane Davids then scoring. Shilton Van Wyk got it in the 9th, and then David Brits scoring in the 10th. That little patch there, the 9th and 10th minute, that was the difference maker in this contest. 14-14 going into halftime, but the Blitzboks continued to bring that intensity in the second half, which in the end helped them get over the line. Kilian Puzelges managed to score in the 1st minute, and then also Pasquet scoring just before the end of the first half. Now we can go on holiday and Brian relax. Thanks, Bock and Hamish, says Roman there. A nice one, Hamish. Well done, the Blitzboks, says Suran. And there as well, nice one. And Hamish, like your commentary, says Hugo, thank you very much. Anyone who is new to the channel, of course, be sure to hit that subscribe button. It is greatly appreciated you all being here for this matchup. We've got plenty more coming in the future as well. The next leg of the Sevens will be happening late January, but we will still be doing videos and live streams up till that stage. Rugby union-wise, we've got the Champions Cup next week. We're building into the Six Nations Super Rugby, the URC, also still here. To anyone who is new, be sure to hit that subscribe button. But I do thank you all very much for tuning in. Like I said, if you did enjoy, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. A massive congratulations to the Blitzboks side. They have looked great throughout this tournament from start to finish. 4 wins from 4, including victories over the Argentines, the Irish, and then also alongside that getting themselves the wins over Spain and now the French. I wish you must come to South Africa, says Morse. Hopefully one day I will be able to afford it. Sneyman gave the Blitzboks a dressing off this past week, and thanks, Hamish. Your commentary was great, says Shanti. Thank you very much. Greatly appreciated. Rassi was in their heads, says Freddie. I mean, Rassi's on the union side of things, of course, but we still need to give the Sevens coach a lot of credit for what he's been able to do with his side here as well. And thanks for being awake for the game, Hamish, says Hillary. No worries at all. It is almost, well, it's just after 6:30 a.m. here in New Zealand, so we will be doing a quick little review of this contest, and then we will be heading to bed for I want to say a well-earned rest. So I guess we did the all-nighter with the sevens. But nonetheless, I do thank you all very much for tuning in. If you did enjoy, be sure to leave a like and subscribe, and I will see you all for the next one.